So the number of federal workers furloughed has increased from 550,000 to over 600,000 people. They're sitting in the house, they're not getting paid. And who's the biggest loser in all of this? It's the taxpayer. It's the American public because they're not getting any value from their tax dollars. This shutdown costs hundreds of millions of dollars each day. It will end up costing over $1 billion, and the taxpayer will receive nothing from it because everyone's getting back pay. Now, from a federal worker perspective, if a government shuts down, you can fall into one of three different categories. Number one, exempted, meaning your agency is still paying you. You are still showing up to work because your agency doesn't rely upon appropriations to be funded. The second one is accepted. Accepted essentially means you're coming in and you're working, but you're not getting paid, at least not yet. Eventually, you'll get paid. Hopefully, that's the promise. The third category is furloughed. And that means you're at the house. You're not getting paid, but you're not working either. You could be taking long walks on the beach. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you want to go fishing. Now, for federal workers that have a nest egg or a savings or they have a cushion, they actually kind of enjoy this time period because they're able to go and do things. Maybe you want to decompress from the year 2025. 2025, this year was a heck of a year for the federal workforce. Maybe you want to take a knee, rest, do something to decompress. So you have thousands of people that are in that situation, but then you have people that are living paycheck to paycheck. They have fallen on hard times and they don't have the money. So they have to go and try to find a low interest or zero interest loan just in order to make ends meet. And they're under increasingly more and more pressure. So which one do you want to be in? If you were a federal worker, which category is the best? I would say probably number one, because you're still going to work, doing your job, getting paid for it. Isn't that the whole idea? Isn't that the intent? You have a job and you're able to make progress towards task and whatever operation you're responsible for. The second category, I would say, probably furloughed, right? Because if you're not going to get paid, which one sounds better to you? Working or not working? When you're not working, you can focus on family members. You can spend time with family, but you can focus on other activities. People are doing side hustles. People are trying to get a part-time job. So you can focus on what is important to you. So the fact that we're increasing furloughs could be a good thing for some people. Now, why are we increasing them? The reason why they have increased and they will continue to increase is because people are running out of money. They were using carryover funds and they still had leftover money, but that's not the case anymore. And an example of this is the Bureau of Land Management. They had 3,000 people working last week. This week, that number is supposed to whittle away to 1,000. So you're going to have over 60% of the people gone, and the 1,000 that remains, imagine what they feel like. They're going to have to carry on additional duties more than likely in a lot of situations. So they're probably not too happy about it. Now, let's take a look at some of the agencies so far. What do their furlough numbers look like? The EEOC and the SEC, they're at the top here. Over 90% of workers furloughed. They pretty much sent most people to the house. The agencies that have the most people working include the DHS, VA, and IRS. DHS makes a lot of sense because immigration enforcement, they're not slowing down that mission. They're not going to let a government shutdown stop them from rolling up and pulling people into vans, depending on your immigration status, because that will still be happening. Also, Coast Guard. They got to patrol the waterways, make sure there's no narcotics coming in or human traffickers. So Coast Guard's going to be doing it. TSA, right? Those individuals that frisk you down at the airport, they're still doing their job now. They've been calling in sick more and more now, but they're still out there, over 60,000 of them. So that makes sense. Also, the VA makes a lot of sense, Veterans Affairs. Medical providers still need to provide healthcare to veterans. Have a large veteran community that they get sick. They need surgeries regardless if the government shut down or not. Same thing with benefits. They need healthcare. They need their benefits. And it's not just the medical provider. It's the administrative support behind the medical provider that supports and enables the medical providers. So that's why you have so many people at the VA that are still working. And then if you look over at the IRS, this is a curious one. They have money. Do you know why the IRS is working this year in 2025 October? Why are they working in a government shutdown? The main reason is President Biden. Because President Biden introduced the Inflation Reduction Act, and that injected billions of dollars into the IRS. And the Republicans were successful in clawing back some of that money, but they still have billions. So they were able to go full speed ahead for the first 5 days. I believe their plan in the second week is to scale back to 53%. So I believe that they're planning to furlough roughly half of that agency. So they might be going to the House if they're not able to fix this shutdown soon. But I mentioned who was the biggest loser, and that's you and me. We're the biggest loser, the American public. Why? Number one is travel. If you need to go into an airport within the next 30 days and the government is still shut down, it's going to be chaotic. Long lines, less flights. That's what's going to happen. That's what caused the last shutdown to end, is the congestion, the dissatisfaction with the airport. The second thing is, with private companies that have government contracts, look at small businesses and also defense contractor. They rely upon federal funds in order to hire people. So you're going to have less people getting hired. The people that are already on the payroll, they might be let go. They might be furloughed. That's going to have an impact on the greater economy. We're not just talking about federal workers here. We're talking about something that greatly exceeds federal workers. Contractors make up at least twice the size of the federal workforce. So there's less people that feel confident to spend money on goods and services, and that's going to impact the GDP. There's some estimates that every day the government is shut down, it's like $100 million or more. Billions of dollars are going to be lost when you're looking at the GDP of this country because of this shutdown. And then consider this. Your state, your county, and your city rely on federal funds for a percentage of their budget. So when they have a program, when they're hiring for a program, that money is coming from the federal government. And that spigot's off right now. There's no funds flowing. That means your state, county, and city are going to hire less people, or they might have to let people go. And that's going to impact the entire country in ways we don't even realize. We haven't even felt the full repercussions of the action of the shutdown. Not yet, we haven't. Also, when the shutdown ends and you want to get the government running again, it's not as simple as walking into a room and flipping a switch. You know, you walk into one of your rooms, it's dark, you turn the switch, it's light. It's quick. It happens in less than a second. But for the federal government, these agencies, it takes days, if not weeks, for everyone to get online, have a meeting, sync up, figure out where were we? What are we doing? What's the status on this? There's so much, the continuity was broken, and there's this lapse of time. So that's going to be an additional cost that everyone's going to feel. Most people don't consider that, right? But in addition to this, we're seeing new incentives. We have the government willing to throw some brand new cash in your face if you're willing to sign up and accept one of these government jobs. And it seems so crazy to say that. As I'm saying it, as I'm listening to the words coming out of my mouth, it sounds crazy. But that's exactly what's happening, because the government understands it needs to hire certain people, not everybody. They don't want everybody. In fact, they wish a lot of people would just leave. But there's certain people that they definitely want. They want to make it more attractive. So they're doubling bonuses. It's crazy what's happening out there. This is especially in the Department of War. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.